Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? And welcome to today's edition of TechCabal Live. I'm David. I'm going to be moderating today's event. You might hear some background noise. Sorry, I'm babysitting today, so it's part of it. But please don't let that distract you. I have with me Solafunmi, Peace, Korty, and Douglas. I'm going to be introducing them deeper later, but yes. So first of all, this event is organized by TechCabal, and TechCabal speaks to both the business and human impact of technology and innovation in Africa. And I assume a lot of us are here because we are TechCabal readers. So it's great to have everyone here today. I'm going to kick off with, we're going to have a research presentation from the TC Insights team. So please, Eniola, you go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone, good morning. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can. Good morning.
Okay, good morning. Great to be here. Thank you all for joining. I'm just going to provide some context around the topic for today, just so we have a clear understanding of why this conversation is important. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a short presentation on Africa's creator economy. So first of all, to start, there's a sizable digital population growing across the world. As of April 2022, there were about 5 billion internet users worldwide, and that's about 63% of the global population. And of this total, about 4.65 billion were social media users. So we see a lot more people on social media, and we see a lot more interest in content creation, the content creation space. Next slide, please. Yes, so the global creator economy is worth over $100 billion. So there's a lot of potential there for creators and even for investors. With about 50 million people, 50 million internet users worldwide, the number of creators keeps increasing. And part of this can be attributed to the pandemic and the lockdown measures, the effect that had. So a lot more people had time on their hands and build or develop more interest in creating content and just putting their content out there. Maybe initially not for just monetization purposes, but just to build a community or have an audience online, right? And then, monetization became something that, became part of that eventually. And today, the size of the creator economy is about over $100 billion. And with this chart, we can see how the economy has grown from 2012 to 2020. Next slide, please. Yes, so however, Africans are still shut out from monetizing their content on global platforms. So we have a few examples on this slide. For instance, on Snapchat. So Snapchat pays up to $1 million per day for content created on the platform. I think that's Snapchat Spotlight. However, it's only available in selected countries, and African countries are left out of that. For Substack, a lot of people use Substack these days for written content, and it's a universal platform, but its payment processor, Stripe, is not available in Nigeria yet and some African countries. So that's a limitation for African creators. And then we also have TikTok. So only creators in the US, the UK, Germany, Italy, and France, and countries like that can apply for funding on TikTok. And these funds are calculated by views and a number of other things. But again, these options are not available for African creators. So we just see with that how limited African creators are when it comes to monetizing their content globally. Next slide, please. Yes, so however, there are some platforms that are creating solutions to monetize content on the continent. So there's Selar, for instance, which has about over 25,000 creators on its platform across 11 African countries. And in the last 2 years, has paid African creators $2.8 million. There's YouTube in 2011, actually. 2011, YouTube launched the YouTube Next Up program, which was designed to help content creators take their production to the next level. And it's available in countries like Nigeria and South Africa as of last year. And then in 2021, Flutterwave also acquired Disha, which is a platform for curating and selling digital content. And this acquisition, part of the goal for this was to make grant access to African creators, grant them access to 150 currencies across 34 countries around the globe. So we see how these efforts are, contributing to growth of creators on the continent. But there's definitely still a lot of ground to be covered. There's still gaps when it comes to accessing payments. There's still gaps when it comes to even building and growing their audiences. So that's part of what we're going to be discussing today. I think this is the last slide. Yes, so I'm going to hand it back to David now, but I'm very excited for this conversation today, and I hope that everyone is here with their questions as well to ask everything that's they're curious to learn about in the creator economy. Over to you, David.
Okay, thank you very much. So, like I said, we have a very interesting collection of panelists today. This topic is really interesting because for a very long time we've had creators on the continent, but one of the things that we haven't done really well is figuring out how to monetize or how to monetize better, and that's the theme of today's conversation. How can African creators monetize their content better? And today with me we have Solafunmi Sosanya. She's the YouTube lead, West Africa East and West Africa. We have Itimi, we have Korty, we have Douglas, and then you have me, the moderator. So I'm going to have you guys unmute yourselves and introduce. Just give a brief introduction of what you do and what you're looking forward to during this conversation. Solafunmi, we'll start with you.
Thank you, David, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. My name is Solafunmi, and I'm lead for YouTube for East and West Africa. What we really do is to work with all of our awesome African creators and ensure that they continue to grow and continue to create and monetize their content on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Peace, please go next.
Hi everyone, good morning. So my name is Peace. I'm a good marketer and I also have a YouTube channel. I create this show called Founders Connect where I interview African founders and operators.
Thank you. Korty?
Hi guys, my name is Korty. I'm a YouTuber and I'm trying to be a filmmaker. And yeah.
All right, and Douglas.
Hi everyone, I'm Douglas. I run Selar. I get a big part of we're like an e-commerce store builder for anyone looking to monetize their knowledge or skill via digital products. And that's really what we're focused on today.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. And my name is David Adeleke. I am a communication strategist and media analyst. I lead the communications team at Nestcoin, and I publish a media analysis newsletter called Communicate. So I'm going to start with Solafunmi. How have you said that? How can you say that African creators have played a role in shaping the culture on YouTube?
Thank you, David, and thank you to David Jr. in the background, having fun as well. So for us, how has African creators played a role in shaping the culture on YouTube? First off, I mean, YouTube continues to be a key driver of pop culture and content producers in Africa and actually across the globe as well. We continue to use the sites, we continue to use our sites to share their lives, their thoughts, their expertise, experience with billions, literally billions of people daily. And every day we have thousands and thousands of creators who share their lives specifically from Africa. So yes, creators continue or constantly redefine the culture of the platform for us. But if it's okay, I'd like to also reframe the question to focus on how, more of creators on YouTube are shaping the culture around the world for us. We like to see YouTube as a platform that enables, sharing of cultures, of passions, of interest. And at a global level, YouTube has over 2 billion monthly logged on users, and every day people watch over 1 billion hours of video and generate even more billion of views. So this is a ready audience for creators, and these are people who are unilaterally deciding what to watch on their own terms. So today, more than 5,500 actually hours are uploaded to YouTube every single minute. And all those numbers are proof of the kind of reach that our creators have and can have as they continue, to create content, and also demonstrate how much information is actually shared on a daily basis. So our culture really revolves around creators, revolves around how people share their lives, their experiences, their vlogs, their stories, their pains every day, and how we can help them to grow. Not only their content, but also for them to grow along, our creator tiers that we've created, and also to continue to make a living sharing their content on the platform. So yes, continuing to shape the culture.
Thank you very much, Solafunmi. And the next question is for Korty, right? So a lot of your background stems from video production and filmmaking. What would you say has inspired your foray into content creation?
So I don't know. I understand the premise of this panel, but I don't necessarily see myself as a content creator. So I did not move from video production or filmmaking to content creation. Content creation is like very vague. It's like a term that a lot of people use very vaguely now. And a photographer is a content creator, if someone that makes videos on TikTok is a content creator, someone that makes stuff for you. If you do stuff in media, that's all you need to become a content creator. But I personally don't think that is like I wouldn't consider myself a content creator. I'm still a video producer or a filmmaker. Might be hard to see that right now, but it's just interesting that YouTube helped me take my life seriously, so like, for example, I used to post videos on Instagram before, and I decided to move to YouTube, and it just seemed like you're doing something more legit with your life, because it helps you take things seriously, it helps you put in work, it helps you, figure out ways to like grow, your brand and I guess wealth. So I'm still in the video production and filmmaking, I guess, part of media. So I don't know, I'm not answering your question, but yeah, I am not a content creator. I just have a YouTube channel.
So I think I've heard you talk about this before, and it's very interesting that we need to. Yes, content creation is an umbrella term, right? And why do you think we need to segment the different types of content creation? What are the implications of people identifying as not just content creators, but for example, you saying, all right, I'm a filmmaker and a video producer, as opposed to just content creator?
I think that would depend on every individual. Like, people have personal goals and personal things they want to achieve. For example, if I say I want to be a filmmaker, I mean in the future I plan to make films, right? So I expect people to start to see my process now. If people try to box me into the content creation space, it means that I am going to become, because most content creators make money from, I guess, influencing, from products, from selling products. So that becomes your value, that becomes what you are, right? If there's nothing wrong with it, if that's what you want to be, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But if you can find exactly what it is you want to like pursue and stick to it, and I think people will see that there's nothing. Content creation is very broad. That's my thing. It's very broad. It's like someone can come and say, oh, send me your rate card, and expect me to just tell me what you want. I'm not going to just send you my rate card, bro. Like, so like it's very vague. It's just a lot. You can be anything at all, and people will just push you around if you don't know exactly what it is you're trying to achieve. And that's just kind of why I keep emphasizing on the fact that this is who I am, or this is who I'm trying to be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. You guys, and I understand it's like the umbrella term, so I don't mind being under the umbrella term, but I would always like emphasize what it is I'm trying to do.
All right, thank you very much. And Peace, so the next question is for you. you lead the growth team at a fintech startup, and that's already one of the busiest jobs in the world, leading a growth team. But then you also have this this career. You have a YouTube channel, but you've had this career where you deliberately share a lot, you create a lot of content. How do you balance that?
I've always seen content as just me, as an extension of who I am and what I'm doing, as against trying to build another career. So that's why I've always done it. I've always done it not because I'm trying to be an influencer or get famous or make money. I mean, they have not even still come. The money and influence have still not come. But I've always just done it because I like to share. So it's like I've been teaching and sharing since I started learning digital marketing, for instance. And I just started looking for what other ways can I train, right? Before I used to just like, go from one academy to the other and like only train people in like physical spaces. And at some point I started thinking like this thing, and then at that time I would just share when I would just take pictures of myself training and just put on Instagram my train, and this is what I talked about today. And people are like, oh, thank you for that lesson. And at some point I just realized like it's way too stressful and it was a lot of time and money going to be involved if I was going to like wanting to train as many people as I want to and share my knowledge. And that's how I started doing YouTube. YouTube was like, oh, I want to keep training, I want to keep teaching, but is there like an easier, more scalable way for me to also do it? So I started playing with online courses. I did Udemy courses. I started doing webinars. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is what I can find on YouTube, because I've been playing around the idea for YouTube for a while. But I'm like, I'm a boring person. I can't be a vlogger. I'm not a filmmaker. It's just the popular ones like that for why people go on YouTube. I can't do it. But I'm like, I could teach. And so I decided, you know what, it was just going to be an avenue for me to teach. And so it didn't feel like I was trying to be something else or build another career. I was just doing what I've always done, just now using a format that I thought was going to be more scalable for me. And obviously my YouTube has now evolved for just me training. I was from teaching just what I'm learning in my life or just teaching go-to-market and stuff to now me interviewing people. It's kind of still the same thing. Now I'm just like, oh, I really like listening to people just tell their stories. And there's probably like a more fancy, more exotic way to do it, but I'm not that skilled and I don't have that much bandwidth. But what I can do is bring people to a couch and sit down and listen to them tell me their stories. I record a video, edit it, and upload it. That's really what it is. And I think that's what makes it easy for me to do, because I'm just doing something that's an extension of what I want to do, which is an extension of myself, rather, which is just sharing and telling people stories and finding the easiest way for me to do it and not trying to imitate anybody's style, and just like being very authentic, and also just creating like the timing around it. So like I batch create content. The reason why I'm able to have my 9-to-5 career and still have a YouTube channel is because I'm not creating or editing content every single day. I think as people that do that full time, that's their work. I am so proud and I'm envious. I can't do it. So I sit down once or two weekends in a month and I'm like, who is available? Get a few people into my house, carry my camera, carry my light, shoot videos, and I'm done. And then I have videos for the next 5 weeks. And everybody's like, oh, please, you're so consistent. Well, it's because I batch created like a couple of weeks ago. So the videos that you guys are seeing kind of was recorded a long time ago. And also like over time as well, aside just batch creating, I've been able to sort of like build for myself a team so like I can then delegate, oh, please, can you help me? This person can then edit the videos, right? I'll shoot the videos and somebody will edit and somebody will upload it. And I'm there actually doing my growth lead work. So that's just that delegation. And just like that time management, being able to be straight to say, okay, this is when I can create content has been the reason why I've been able to be consistent. But like, I think at the ground level of it, the most important thing is that it doesn't feel like I'm doing something entirely different from who I am or what I'm doing. It's just me sharing and just me teaching still and just me like having conversations, and that feels very authentic. And when you're very authentic, I think it's easy to do as many things as you want to do at the same time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So a question came in and the person said we should focus on step-by-step guide to making money. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to do that. So please be patient. Douglas, the next question is for you. So the creator economy is worth about 100 billion. Sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. The creator economy is worth about 100 billion, but African creators only capture a fraction of that. How would you say Selar is helping to increase all that African creators can make?
Okay, I'm not muted anymore. Hi, I'm really glad to be here. So the thing is, I think as an African or specifically a Nigerian, I think one of the things that you feel the most is like payment issues. I mean, whether it's you paying for stuff or whether it's you receiving money. So, I mean, right now we're probably on like a $20 limit and still receiving money, still like a chore and maybe going around finding money. So anyway, when we were building Selar, it was very important to me that payments was solved, or at least it was working for a lot of people, that you can take payments without like any hassle. And you can also, and like, because I think one of the things that hurts the most is you build a wonderful brand, you build a wonderful product, and then you have somebody willing to pay for the product and they're out of the country and they try to pay and then they can't pay you the $100, they can pay you the $500 that they want to pay, and you lose out on that business. So what we've done is, I think, so aside like building the product layer where people could sell any kind of product, whether it's like ebooks, courses, event tickets and all, we try to do integrations to like multiple payment gateways. So now we have Naira payments by Flutterwave, we have Naira payments by Paystack, we have other African currency payments by Flutterwave, whether it's like Ghana cedis, Kenyan shillings, we have PayPal integrated, we have Stripe integrated. So that means like anybody that wants to pay you or buy your product on Selar will not have any issues. And I think that's one of the things that's most important to us. And that's like one of our biggest like commitments for solving this problem. And I think when it comes to like the earning power in Nigeria, or I guess in general, so the thing is, yes, there's the idea that not a lot of people have the money to pay. And I guess unlike the spending power of people in the West, that maybe people can have like $1,500 for like an ebook or like a course, you would typically not find the same here. It's still kind of tricky, because the good thing about us being behind the scenes is we can see that in this same Nigeria that we're in, and in this same economy that we're in, people are still paying for courses of 250,000 Naira. People are still paying for courses of 1 million Naira. People are still paying for masterminds of about $12,000. And so it's very important that as you're branching out, building your value and doing anything, you really start defining the kind of audience that you want. You find the right people that are going to pay for your stuff. You obviously build a reputation that's going to get you there. And that way it's easier for you to command your words like as time goes by. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask you an interesting question. I'm happy you mentioned people paying $12,000. What's the most interesting thing that you've seen people pay for on Selar? You saw it and you were like, people pay for this? That is crazy. What's that?
So the funny thing is, I have actually been keeping a list of this for a while. I've been trying to keep a list of like funny products I've seen, because I knew that the day somebody asks me for this, I will forget. Let's see. Okay, I mean, I can't find anything really, I guess, noteworthy, but I think one thing that shocked me one time was somebody was selling a book called My Dubai Experience. It was an ebook called My Dubai Experience. And like, the thing about the digital products that people sell most of the time is you really would think that, no, nobody's going to buy this. This is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense, but people will. And I'm also seeing another book here called Clap Back, 100 carefully curated conversation starters for various scenarios. There's another one, Enough of Heartbreaks, and the list goes on. And really, people really would sell anything and people will buy anything, provided you have the right audience and they are interested in whatever you have to sell, they will pay for it.
All right, thank you very much. So this whole idea that people will not pay for content it's faulty. It's not entirely accurate. It just depends on what it is.
No, yes, because, and I mean, you could even use YouTube as an example. There's so many, why is somebody playing a 4 hours sleeping, like for silence? And that's the thing, people are interested in so many things, and it's very important for people to put themselves out there, put their content out there, and that way you get it better. Like you will actually surprise yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you mentioned that, because the next question is for Solafunmi. And so my question to you is, in your opinion, what are the factors that are limiting African creators from earning their talents worth? Let's compare it with other parts of the world. What limits African creators the most?
So I'll be honest with you, and it's really, really encouraging to hear Desmond speak and all of those things around YouTube, around people paying for content, because the sort of things that people watch, and that's the beauty of YouTube. It's that any single person, Shola, BC, Nkechi, Amadu, any single person, regardless of age, gender, everything, you can create on YouTube. Now, for some of the things we've identified is that number one, and I think the biggest one, is just that relevant education on how to scale content and how to appeal to a broad variety of audiences. We've seen that a lot of people just do not know. It's interesting to know that a lot of people just do not know that they can earn on YouTube, that they can actually earn dollars, earn money, earn a living. And that's a metric that we take very serious, that there are people who earn their daily living without doing any other thing but to create content, document their lives, document their experiences, and go and put it on YouTube and be paid for it and never have to do any other thing. That's something that we take as very important. So we always encourage creators to try out, creating content. And what we like is that YouTube is a very, very even playing field. It's a level playing field for every single person. It's irrespective of your age, of your gender, of your location. So far, your content follows all of like the simple health and safety guidelines for everyone, and you continue to work at it and build a loyal audience, and have your own consistency and all of those things. You honestly are stepping in the direction of unlimited growth, and that growth comes with monetization as well. So it doesn't matter what you share. I mean, like Desmond said, people watch people sleeping. People watch people who are peeling off dandruff on people's heads. People watch travel. People watch, I was addicted to I'm addicted to a particular show, and it's a good one. It's a channel that's called, I think, Primitive Living, where two young people are just building with their hands, with nothing but primitive tools. They build in, you watch it, they make a nice time lapse of it, and I watch it. And it's amazing when you think that who would simply, before, like we used to say, who will watch paint dry? But these people are building, and we're sitting there and we're enjoying, and they get millions and millions and millions of views. So honestly, no matter the vertical of content, so far people around the world want to see that type of video. So far there's someone who wants to see that type of content. You can build a loyal community of audience, a loyal communities of subscribers, of fans who continually daily come to YouTube to watch your channel. And it's all about you starting and realizing, I think that the biggest chunk of the work is the relevant education, is for people to actually know that you can sell your content, you can scale your content, you can appeal to a broad variety of audiences, no matter your age, no matter how pretty or unpretty you think you are. There is an audience for what you're selling. There's an audience for your content. So I feel like once we go beyond that education barrier of, yes, there is a market for it. You are sitting outside every day, doing your craft, maybe selling something. There's an audience for it. There's an audience for every single thing. And it's all about people knowing and searching for places and ways and strategies to monetize that content.
Thank you very much, Solafunmi. Okay, Douglas is still online. He'll join us once he can. Korty, the next question is for you. So I want you to talk us through your process. When you first started, and now you're making a lot of money from, I can say that for a fact. You're making a lot of money from doing what you're doing. How did you make the leaps that you made? At what point did you realize, okay, this is something I can actually make money from? And what did you do to cross that hurdle when you finally started making money? So just talk us through your process.
I'm wondering how you know I'm making a lot of money.
What did you say?
I'm wondering how you know I'm making a lot of money. Well, we'll keep it between.
Do you want to go there?
Okay, so I worked at a couple places, so I learned. I guess I had an idea of what I wanted to do before I started doing it. So I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to start YouTube. I had been making videos like for some time. And I think for me, money was not really my goal, as cliche as that sounds. It wasn't actually in my mind. Like, I know I'm going to get to a point where, the money will be too much, and, I will not really know how to manage everything. But like, it's still not my top priority. I'm still very particular about like growing and learning how to make quality stuff. Because I think one of the most important things, as everybody has said, there's an audience for everything, but there's also the reason why somebody will keep coming back to watch something, because they feel something when they watch your videos. It can be joy, it can be calmness. They feel something. You probably just make them, you probably challenge their brain, whatever it is. There's a reason why people even the sleeping videos, because they want to sleep, like there's a reason why people come to watch stuff. So if you know like how to make people feel something, I feel like they will keep coming back, like for more of that thing, as long as your quality, and this is not just video quality, I mean like quality of your thought process, your intention, your intentionality and everything. So I feel like if the quality is good and you understand your own value, because I feel like a lot of creators don't actually know their value, so they charge nonsense. So if you understand your value, you can, and you're actually putting in the work, and you know that, okay, true to you, because some people, it's very hard to at some point it's very hard for me to understand how influencers make money, because a lot of them just come online and just say, hey, I have this phone for you, and disappear, and they get paid a lot of money for that. And I in my head, that's not, you can't last on that. Do you understand? Like, because once people do this once, they see that, oh, you didn't actually, get me any customers or whatever, they're not going to come back to you, right? So if you understand your value, if you understand that, and if you're true to yourself, I feel like the money will come. Like, it's just a matter of time. You just need to honestly just put in the work in making sure that your content is true to you and true to your audience, right? Brands will come, people will come. And I feel like another thing that I'm having to learn now is, I guess, how to not waste money, if that makes sense. So like basically investing and like understanding what to do with my money and all of that. So there's making the money, which a lot of creators are now doing. A lot of creators are making money, but there's still nobody still knows how to actually, a lot of people don't know how to handle their money, because they feel like this is a sustainable I guess pattern, which might not actually be sustainable. You're not going to be hot forever. Like, as big as Whiskey is, he's not going to be the biggest forever. As big as Drake is, he's not going to be. Michael Jackson is dead. Do you understand? So like, you can continue making money while you are dead. Your family can be earning, from you. But if you don't understand how to like make money while you sleep, you are going to be working for the rest of your life. And I don't want to work for the rest of my life. So I'm trying to make sure the quality of my work is very good, and it speaks for itself. And I don't need to do too much back and forth over some thousands of.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that was really good. Thank you very much. By the way, to the people in the audience, if you have a question, there is a place for Q&A. So just click on that, then ask your question, because your question will get lost in the chat box, and then I won't be able to attend to it. So just better you queue your question in the Q&A, no pun intended, in the Q&A chat box, and then I will get to it. My next question is also, if you're raising your hand and you actually have a question, just type it. There will be a segment for Q&A. So please just type your question out, and we'll attend to it. My next question is for Peace. How has your experience as a growth marketer helped you build your brand?
That's a very interesting question. How my experience? I think it's a couple of things. One is just understanding that content is one thing, distribution is like a whole different game. And distribution is really where the cocoa is. You can create the best content. People don't see it. It's not going to give you anything. So I think that was something that I sort of came into with. And also because, I mean, kind of content I've always created is very niche. It's super niche. I think I even got more niche when I started doing Founders Connect. And so just realizing that, it's not something mainstream. And so I can't depend on YouTube's algorithm and the tags I put on my YouTube to just get me views. I have to do the work and share with places in places that I think that my audience can then see it and then come and then subscribe and then become my audience. So that was the very first big lesson. Like, if I'm going to be successful at this thing, I'm going to have to learn to distribute the content a lot. So when I started, I'll create one video, I'll put it everywhere: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the Facebook group chats the WhatsApp group chats many small, I'll be sending people DCs, but it's just I didn't like that one, so I won't do that part. But I was distributing notes, and even now it hasn't changed as well, right? I still have like many different channels that I sort of either I'm proposing the content or I'm just sharing like, this content is live so that people can then come and see it. I know that there's like a good number of people now that already have like subscribed and they have notifications turned on. So sometimes even before I realize that a video I've scheduled is on, I've seen a comment, I'm like, that video is live now, but I still have to do like the extra work. So I think that was one way that just being a marketer has like, distribution is really key. Another thing is also kind of like learning to focus on data, and just thinking, okay, what currently makes, what kind of videos actually get me more views on my channel, right? And just seeing how I can sort of replicate the video. So I started doing Founders Connect by chance, but I didn't continue it by chance. I continued because I realized, okay, there's something different in how people are responding to this kind of content and when they've not been responding to the other kind of content I've been creating before. And so I was just trying to replicate, and I'm like, okay, there's something here. And now also learning the kind of people and the length of the videos. I said, for instance, the videos that do best on my channels are the ones that are at least 50 minutes to 1 hour. If I do a 20 minutes video, it won't do well. But when I look at my views, I'm like, all the ones that have the highest content ones are the ones that are usually very long. So I'm just learning to like just really pay attention to that data. Like I'll pay attention if it was a fintech product that I was going to do. I think those are the two big ways that being a growth led person has sort of like really influenced how I create my content. And also just another thing is also just sort of like learning how to sort of like create my own audience even outside of YouTube. So making sure that, I want to start doing things like my newsletter, because I was thinking one day, what if like, YouTube Shorts, then what do I do? What are the ways that I can have my own data for the people that are my own audience, so that, because those are the people that I will end up selling. So if I want to create a new product, right? And so in what ways or in what other formats can I still reach those people, even though it's a different kind of content, but how can I still engage an audience on the 100%, so that they are the ones that I can end up monetizing all the different ways that I can do. So I think those are like the top 3 things that learning marketing has sort of like helped influence how I treat my content creation, channels.
Thank you very much. I have one more question for Douglas, and then we'll go into the Q&A economy that's you think creators are yet to take advantage of.
Do you want to repeat that, please?
What are the opportunities in the creator economy that African creators are yet to take advantage of?
So I guess I would say on a global level, I don't see a lot of people pitching themselves to sell internationally. I think one of the biggest trends that we've seen when I see a lot of creators selling their products today is a lot of them don't advertise to like international audiences. And I mean, I get why. You typically just want to serve the audiences that you hopefully think would most likely be readily available to buy your product. But I mean, 9 out of 10 times, products are very translatable to other African audiences. Let's even start with that, because we saw a very big trend with Nigerians creating products and a lot of other Africans in Ghana and Kenya buying. I mean, there's this friend of mine, she has an ebook called How to Get Married with like 100K. It's like do this in a budget. And I mean, you would think that even with the title, the book is so niche and like no one outside of Nigeria would be interested in that. But I mean, the lessons are very universal. And I saw a lot of people from Ghana buy the product. And I guess Nigerians or Africans in general need to start realizing that the products that they create are universal and they work, and you need to hopefully market to international audiences. You need to find international clients. I think another really nice success story that I like is there's this creator that she used to sell $5, $10 ebooks, maybe sometime in 2018. And I think in 2020, I saw her selling like a $1,500 coaching service to people in the US. And that's just evident in the fact that if you have value, if you cultivate an audience, if you give them good value as time goes by, they will respect you, they will pay you more money. And that's really how people should think. I mean, I think the most important thing is think of the long term. You might not be able to command $1,000 in the first 1-2 years, but give that 3 years, give that 4 years. And as you grow your audience, as you grow your trust, people will flock. I hope that's helpful.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question for Thomas. So how are you? So you said you feel like a lot of people don't market their content or products to the international audience. How do you do that?
So, I mean, I know it's a little different. I don't know how different it is from the YouTube space. I don't know too much about it. I know that with YouTube, I mean, your content is typically just open to everybody, and hopefully as more people interact with your content, you're just recommended to people. So for us, we work with a lot of creators that sell like ebooks and courses. So CCME has like an ebook that she sells on a platform. Tayo Aina has a course that he sells for how to, like a YouTube Academy course. And the thing is, it's very typical. I loved speaking to Tayo because he was like, when I'm marketing this course, I'm marketing it to people in the diaspora. Like, I'm not just marketing it to people that are in Nigeria, because he knew that the course that he had, which was a good like introduction and foundation for YouTube, was not only for people that were Nigerian, even though he's a Nigerian that has a lot of Nigerian views. So when he was marketing, he put his ad out to his audience in the US. He put his ad out to, I think he had cultivated his newsletter when he was doing his Facebook. So in some form, I mean, the partnerships that you strike to reach a different audience, you're striking international audiences. I guess an example would be for your really nice videos. I mean, I remember seeing one of your videos in like last year or so. I think it was the one where you were like, oh, I quit my job, I'm going full time in this. And I just shared it to like all of my, that video was really nice. Anyway, but I guess maybe the typical idea would be that when you're spreading those in all the different channels, you would think, oh, I should put it in Bella Nigeria. I mean, not Bella Nigeria, but like, let's say I put it in Bella Nigeria, put it in all the local like audiences. But it's also important to know that your audience is international, like it's internationally relatable. So if there's like so you would also say, BuzzFeed, look at this video, it's really dope in this way. I think you should share this with your audience, and realizing that your content is great and global, and acting accordingly. I don't know if that helps.
So I think framing is very important, right? If you're trying to reach an international audience, the way you frame your content is very important, and that's something that I had to learn, for example, with my newsletter. My newsletter initially was targeted at the Nigerian audience. I was writing about Nigeria for the Nigerian audience, but I realized that if you really want to monetize and get to a point where you can make a living off of this, you have to change your direction. And so I moved from writing about Nigeria for a Nigerian audience to writing about Africa for an international audience. And so what that meant was, instead of using primarily Nigerian analogies or like data sets or illustrations that are focused on Nigeria, I use data points. I do research about content that is relevant to the US. I use some of those examples, use some of the examples in Europe, and then use some of the examples around the continent. So that way, it's not just, okay, this guy is in Nigeria, but he's writing for a Nigerian audience. Okay, this guy is in Nigeria, he's writing about something happening on the continent, but there is a global perspective to it. And so what that now means is more people are interested. I'm essentially still writing about the same thing, but the framing is different. So I think that's a very important thing for creators when you're marketing yourself to an international audience. The way you frame your content is very important. We're going to move into Q&A now. And the first question is, this question is for Douglas. How do you make money on Selar, and why do you think people use your content rather than the other creators and other competitors?
So That's a really good question. So I should clarify. So Selar is more like a platform you get to create your own website to sell your products. We allow you host your products. So we're not like a marketplace, even though I guess we might have a marketplace soon. But I guess I would liken it to you create your own Shopify store and then you drive traffic to that store. So in that way, we make it just easy to upload like an ebook in like 5 minutes. And then it's going to be up to you to handle that distribution of getting your ebook to thousands of people to see it. I think what we do is we make sure that payments work. We make sure it's easy to access, whether on mobile, whether on web, and we give you whatever like tools or integrations with like third-party platforms to make like your sales funnel very seamless. That's really what we do in the mix. I don't know if that helps but that's what we do.
All right, thank you very much. Korty, when you say you handle money, do you mean skill? Is that question clear? When you say handle money, do you mean skill? Do you understand the question?
Not really.
So this is from Tito Shubanke. Tito, please could you clarify what your question is?
So I mean, I guess handling money for I would say for creative people is, I feel like there are two. There's people in tech and there's people in the creative space right now that you can say, okay, these people can cash out if you know what you're doing. Wait, sorry, do you want her to clarify?
Tito, do you want to clarify what your question means? Because it's not very clear. You're muted if you're trying to speak. Okay, we'll go to another question for now. This is from Henry Okonkwo. How do you manage the risks of building your audience on a platform that doesn't provide you 100% ownership of your audience? You didn't say who the question is directed at, but Solafunmi, do you want to answer that? How do you manage the risk of building your audience on a platform that doesn't provide you 100% ownership? You love my baby. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's pretty tough to answer because at the end of the day, what a lot of platforms and like YouTube as well provide is a platform. It's a place where all of people converge. It's like going to a mall. People converge there. So if you bring your store there, you see the people in the mall. It's harder for you to go to different places to go and start looking for people to buy your stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you come to a platform where there's already people there. So I'm not sure how you want to own the audience. I know a lot of people now do that by saying maybe sign up for my newsletter, sign up for my emails and code. But even at that, you still don't own the email. You see what I'm saying? It's still so it's all about platforms. And I don't think that there's a huge risk if you follow the guidelines and the health and safety procedures on each platform. Every platform has, and it's not only to protect other people, but to protect your content, your rules as well. For example, on YouTube, you get to a stage where you can get your content ID, which is almost like an identity. It's almost like your thumbprint, where whatever content you put on the platform, it's owned by you. So if someone else uses it or something, they get flagged for it, or you can flag them for it if you see it. So I think you shouldn't worry too much about ownership of your audience, more about the sort of content you create and then how you ensure that whatever platform you are building on, you follow the safety guidelines for that platform. So for example, on YouTube, we have a lot of things that we use to safeguard our audience. You don't want nudity, you don't want quite a number of things. So it's those sort of things that we prevent against. But honestly, you shouldn't have lots of issues if you look at the guidelines of each platform.
Thank you very much, Solafunmi. This next question is from Emmanuel Bassi, and I would like Peace to answer. It says, what are the strategies a content creator needs to apply to find their audience? Because lately, with market sophistication, finding the right audience seems to be as nerve-wracking as rocket science.
I think that your audience finds you, not necessarily you finding your audience, because to be honest, right, we can decide on the kind of content you want to create and like, I'm creating for these people, but really when they start engaging with your content that you know for sure that, oh yes, you've actually found like the right message market fit. So you have always thought about is create content you want to create. As you begin to, as the more consistent you are, the more your audience finds you. Maybe at first it will be like one person, and if that person really connects with your content, they'll probably share the content, and you meet 2 people, and then one day you've gone from 2 subscribers to like 100 subscribers, and then you go from 100 to like 1K, and you go from 1K, and next thing you're like maybe 150K. But like, the more you create content, the higher the likelihood that you will find the right audience for you, and that the audience that you find would also grow because you begin to attract different kind of people. And what you want to also do is just experiment with different kind of content as well. Maybe as we're trying to like, I don't think that this content I'm creating is for the audience I currently have. Then experiment, right? Are there different formats that you can use to create to pass out the same kind of message? Are there different ways that you can actually pass out the same message? Are there different styles that you want to use to be able to, like, you have to be able to experiment. One of the creators I really respect is Designer Babe, right? I saw a content on Instagram today that was like a carousel, and I'm like, oh my God, there was a time when Designer Babe started and all her post on Instagram was just carousels. Now she's doing lifestyle and design, and her audience, and still the same audience, but she's finding more audience. But I think she got to this point where she's able to infuse lifestyle and design because she also experimented a lot, but also she was consistent enough to begin to learn, to get to that point where she's realizing, okay, I think I'm seeing a trend here. When I post my face, people do this. And so you don't actually even like hit that place where you can really experiment if you're not even consistent in the first place. So I think it's ultimately just being consistent, being able to experiment, and know that as long as you keep giving out quality content, your audience will always find you, because the audience that you have now, they are literally the gateway to getting much more people like them, and 10x in 100x in that amount of people that you have. But you have to give them value enough for them to go and talk about it. Just like when Korty releases content, everybody's talking about it. And so even if you don't know Korty, you hear that Korty has a video and you go watch it. And if you like it, you end up subscribing, right? It's kind of that same ripple effect. So if you're consistent and you do quality content and you don't shy away from experimenting, I think that audience growth is just a byproduct of that eventually. It might take time for different people. The timing is different. Some people will get their 100K in 3 months. Some people get their 100K in 10 years, but the growth will still come as long as that consistency is there.
All right, thank you very much. I think that's a fantastic response. The next question is for Korty. What's your approach to getting people featured in your videos? Do you pay them to feature, or what's your approach? Is there a structure like sending formal proposals, or do you just chat them up to show up in your video? This question is from Tomiwa Bada.
So initially, I used to beg a lot. There's a lot of begging involved. But I also started with people in my, when you are growing, you can see the people that are growing at your pace. They also have like a strong community. So I started with those guys that were not like big, but had like cult following, and it was easy to get them on my channel when I first started. And the thing is, every video I do, I make sure it's better than the last one, so that when I need to ask somebody else, there's something to show and say, oh, this is what I have done, and this is what this would be like. So for example, the first person, so I have a show called Film is Korty, and the first person I got was a model who, and at the time it was still a very serious testing phase, but she was a model in Unilag, and Unilag is a place where there's a lot of young people. So I knew that a lot of young people will watch it. And the next one was Ashley Okoli, then Black Bones. Now, once I did Black Bones, once I did Ashley Okoli and the Baby, it was very easy to like show Black Bones that, hey, Alpha, this kind of what I want to do. It might be good for you and me, and both of us, blah blah. So it's a lot of begging. I know how to beg. I know how to persuade people. I know how to like say, oh, hey, this is how this is going to benefit you. I usually shy away from like making proposals that I've learned, because people will carry your idea and they have the money to execute it better than you and faster than you. So I try my best to use like word of mouth and send voice notes, send Instagram DMs back to back to back. For example, I went for a YouTube show recently, YouTube events rather recently, and Funke Akindele was there. and I literally went on stage.
Korty.
Oh yeah. So you were there as well. Solafunmi was there as well. So I literally went on stage to, tell her, oh, I have this event, this show that I would like you to be on, and everybody was laughing, but we've been talking since then. So I think once the beginning stage is the hardest. Like, learning is very hard. So the beginning stage requires a lot of, you need to be shameless. You need to be very shameless. And, as shameless as you are being shameless, you are putting in, all the work you need to put in to make sure that whatever it is you are doing is top notch. So yeah, after that, it's been kind of easy to, all the other people that have been on my show have reached out to me so far. I'm still reaching out to people and they're still saying no, it's becoming less. It's becoming less, but yeah, I feel like if you know how to, like, you should start with the people in your radar and the people in your vicinity that have like strong, community or something, and make it good so that you have something to show as opposed to pitching or sending proposals. If you have, it's easier to see what has already been done. You get easier to see potential from what already exists than writing proposals.
Sorry, thank you very much, Korty. I just wanted to add some more context and color to what Korty has said. And thank you, Korty, for the very direct and honest answer. A lot of people start out creating content and stuff, and they think that it's always going to be like smooth, all of those things. There's a lot of hard work to it. And you need to tell yourself that you're ready for that. So it's not going to be the easiest, but always start on your own pedestal. I was talking to a content creator who said, when I started out, today he has over 1 million subscribers. And he says, when I started out, nobody wanted to collaborate with me. Nobody listened to me. So what I did was I started collaborating with people who had the same number of 500 subscribers like myself. And so we would collaborate together. People would watch the video and they would go to his channel and subscribe to him, and come to my channel and subscribe. And then I would call my random friend who is also good in, maybe I'm talking about finance. I call my random friend who is also going to come on my channel and spread the news to other people who normally don't know me. But because he's been on, he also wants people to see it, he shares it. So it's about realizing that your connections are very, very important. Your own video, you can share it anywhere. Put your video on YouTube, let people know on Instagram, let people know on your WhatsApp stories, let people know on your Twitter page. Learn to tap into that. Don't think that it's going to happen. And what I like about YouTube is it's almost like a bank. The second you can create 100 videos, it's not great. But the second you do that one video that people love, they go back and go and watch all the previous ones you've done. So that's why it's great. They go back and some people go as far back as to the very first video you ever did and start to consume from that. So it's about consistency, putting in the hard work. Don't be afraid to beg. I see a lot of people start out, maybe they're on 500 subscribers and they go to someone who has worked out to get to 500,000 subscribers and say they want to collaborate. And the person says no. And then they feel like, they don't want us to grow. No, it's not like they don't want you to grow. They're also looking for growth. How much growth are you giving them? What are you offering in return? So it's about learning that maybe sometimes the people on your level at your 500 subscriber level is where you want to start with, and then keep going from there.
Fantastic. I was going to add something, but then I realized it's not necessary. So I'm going to move on to the next thing. Tito, please go ahead and speak, and so Korty can answer your question.
Yeah, thank you. Just like confirm that you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So my question was to Korty. I was asking because there's a time she said, handling money. She's learning. You said you're learning how to handle money, Korty, and I was just wondering if that meant, as money is coming in like right now, if that meant you're trying to figure out how to scale your craft, and even if that's not what you meant, what does scaling mean to you, like right now at this point where you are? What would scaling mean to you? What are the next steps that you like to that you think you need to take to scale your craft? Thank you.
So I think personally, I usually have, like, at the beginning of the year, I have long-term goals, and then every other month I have very short-term goals. Like I want to do this month, I want to do this next month, and my goals are, as much as I seem like I'm very driven by numbers. The only reason I feel like numbers are great is because the higher numbers are like your YouTube, the Instagram numbers are like new currency. Like the more engagement you have, the more numbers you have, the more money you can make. So it's like that's dollars right now in content creation world. So I would love to like grow those numbers, but also I'm now more focused on. Before I used to churn out content like every other week, and I've kind of stopped or reduced that to, because I realized the more time I'm able to spend on certain videos or like spend time planning and working on these things, the better the videos do. Like I've been working on a couple of videos for a couple of months now, and they are still not ready, and I'm not going to do them until I feel like they're ready, because I feel like um, I'm now more particular about like the quality of my work than just growing my numbers. Because from one video I got like, I think usually from, if I drop a video I get like, let's say 100 new subscribers. But the last few videos, I think there was a particular video I dropped that I saw my subscribers go from 50K to 80K in like a week. So I knew, okay, and that was a video I spent almost an entire month working on. And at the time I was feeling bad, like, God, I haven't posted a video in a long time, people forget about me and all of that. But my groundwork is solid. So I've done the post every day, post every week. I've done that, and people know that I will, as long as I'm alive, I will drop something. Because I care about my audience. So right now I'm just focused on the quality of my work. And what I meant by handling money is, it's very simple. It's like for example, I'm now more curious about real estate, crypto, all of these things that normally I didn't really care about. I used to feel like I was still a small leader and I did not really need to know all these things. But I am literally, like, for example, and another thing is I'm very particular about the brands I work with. So I'm working with, so there's a company called Bridge that I work with, and it's very interesting because I find myself actually using the website, like going on the website, like not because they're paying me to sell it, but like by myself, I am now learning that, okay, these things are not as complex as I thought they would be. So I just meant like, generally, as we're young right now, and it's very easy to go clubbing, want to buy fanciest cars, want to have iPhone 12, whatever it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with those things, but just make sure you put your money somewhere that can, earn by itself, that can just continue to double itself without your input every single day. And yeah, then after that, you can go and buy whatever you want to buy and flex and all of that.
Thank you very much. Tito, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just Korty, thank you for the free shout outs to Bridge. So the next question is still for you. This is from Nadia. I'm an amateur video creator on YouTube for a year now. I put in a lot of work, but it's really hard to put in more work because it seems like I'm never going to make it there. My entire world revolves around making videos, but I'm stuck and lost. Can you advise on how to keep pushing and not give up? Korty the mentor.
Oh Lord. Man, I feel like you can only give up when you are achieving, to be fair. Like, that's not to discredit your hard work. So that's very hard to answer because I actually don't know, the amount. Hard work is very, it varies. You can't put a cap to, this is the amount of hard work I put. And you said you've been on YouTube for 1 year. That's not a very long time, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's not like, it's a decent enough time, but it's not a very long time for you to start getting worried that, oh, my channel is not doing well. Some people, Mr. Beast was on YouTube for almost 5 years before anybody knew who he was. And like, guys, like, established now. So I feel like sometimes what I do when I feel like I'm stuck and I'm doing the same thing over and over, I pause and I just go away for a bit and I try to like I write a lot. So I try to write, okay, this is what I am doing right now. This is what I'm doing that's working, and this is what I'm doing that is not working. Why are these things not working? Everybody has answers to their own problems. At the end of the day, it's in your head. You just need to like remove yourself from like just for a second, just forget about it. Forget about the fact that you have a channel you're trying to grow and just put everything off. Go back. Ask yourself why you are doing this thing. Because sometimes your passion might not be your passion. That's the truth. You might have convinced yourself that this is something I love, but if you are getting, it's hard to get tired of something. You will get, worked up and like all of that, but it's hard to like get tired for too long. If it's something that you're really, really, really passionate about. So I think go back and just try to write and see everything in your head. Because sometimes there's so many things in our head that like until you put everything out, you can't actually, you can't dissect everything. So maybe write when you started your YouTube channel, why you started it, what you need to do to like, to maybe try a different thing. Like, and I wish you put like the kind of videos you make to know if what the niche is. If you want to attempt new stuff, sometimes you need like friends, as simple as it is, you need friends to like gauge your work, like send your work to them, let them tell you, oh, this is bad, this is good, remove this, put this. Send posts everywhere, beg people for it. To see, as much as it's like I say begging a lot, but people that are on my Twitter know how much when I first started, I was harassing people. It was very intense, and it was, at some point I was embarrassed, but like after a while, it just became close to me. So if you need to, I don't know, just like take some time off mostly when things just, when it seems like I do the same thing over and over and over and over, you just need to pause and actually see where you are in life. And, it will be hard and sad. And if you need to cry. I always tell myself now, feel everything. When I am sad, I allow myself to be sad. When I'm confused, I allow myself to feel confusion. When I'm happy, everything, just take some time off and I guess consume stuff, write stuff, plan again, like go back to the beginning, ask yourself why you started this and all of that. And if you want to, you feel like, okay, I want to try something else, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you feel like you want to keep at this, there's also nothing wrong with that. I can't give you a direct answer because I'm not good, but yeah, that's what I think right now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Korty. I can relate with Nadia's question, and that's why I was smiling, because I've been writing a newsletter for 2 years and 2 months now. I started during lockdown in May 2020, and one of the things that I had to battle with was for about 14 months. Maybe if 1,000 people read the newsletter, I'll be happy. Like I'll be happy. I wasn't chasing numbers, but sometimes those things get to you. That people don't care about this thing, blah blah blah. But I kept at it, and after 18 months, after 18 months, I got into the Substack fellowship, and that was like my lucky break. Account for the fact that I had been a journalist, I had built a very large audience, but because I started something new, even the large audience I had built in the past did not matter for this new thing. I had to struggle, like I had to put myself out there again, almost like I was building my career all over again. But I don't know, I really believe in what I was writing. I still really believe in what I'm writing about. And even though I didn't care about the numbers, I felt like the numbers were good to have. And we finally, like the newsletter finally crossed 1K subscribers after the fellowship. And in 6 months now, it's 7 months now, it's gone from like less than 1K subscribers to 25,000. But I had to do it for 18 months. Like for 18 months, people did not really, they said they care, but they didn't really care. But I kept at it because I thought like this is something really important. So Nadia, if you think what you're doing is very important, then please keep at it. It sounds cliche because, to be honest, there are no secrets. You have to be consistent. You have to be resilient. If you really believe in what you are doing, if you think it is important, please keep at it. Eventually, like things will start to how do you join the Substack fellowship? I didn't join, I got selected. I applied and then I got selected. So the next question is, please let me know how many more minutes we have for Q&A. The next question is from Suleiman Abubakar. He said, and I'll ask, this is for Solafunmi. It takes a lot to actually monetize YouTube, which makes it hard for small creators. Is it possible for African creators to make money from their fans outside of YouTube, like Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, etc., or merch? I think.
So yeah, there's I'm not going to say it takes a lot to make money on YouTube. We just have a few things that we put in place, and it's not because you don't want people to immediately start making money. It's because you want to see that they're consistent content creators. So for you to have 1,000 subscribers, for you to get to 4,000 watch hours in a year, and you think that 4,000 is a lot, but see what Korty gets in a day. So it's just about you creating content that people want to watch. And once you get to that criteria, then you get through to the YPP program, the YouTube Partner Program, and that's it. You start to monetize. And what's great is that there's over 10 different ways to monetize on YouTube. So there's the super stickers, there's the super fans, all of that already built in. But you only get to that once you've gone through the initial stage of getting into the YPP program itself. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and it keeps growing. We keep finding new ways for creators to be able to monetize and to interact better with their fans. So keep at it. I think that's the biggest news of the day. Keep at it, be consistent, continually evolve your content, continually tailor your content to an even wider variety of people. Like David was saying, that when he was creating content, he didn't realize in the beginning that you were targeting only like Nigerian people. But by the time you open up your audience to something people would love, something anyone around the world can relate to, then it starts to make sense. Then it starts to open up the pool. If people in Nigeria are, say, 100 million, and they come to watch your content, by the time you spread it to, or you make your content appeal to people in the whole of Africa, then you see how many times you double that. Then you extend it to like the world, then you see how many times, you've also been able to do that. So it's about looking at all of these things and deciding how you want your content to scale, that I'll say you should focus more on.
All right, thank you very much, Solafunmi. We'll have time for 2 more questions. So this one is for Korty. Hi, Korty. The person's anonymous. Hi, Korty. I'm glad you mentioned investing. I'm a young lady, a graduate of the University of Ibadan, and I have a business that specializes in the sales of African indigenous arts and crafts. Please give me permission to slide into your DM and present my business proposal to you. I want to present my business ideas to you and my proposal too. I've been in this business for some time, and I'm at the stage where I need the help of investors to scale it up. Okay.
So I'm not an investor.
Korty.
I'm an investor. But if you really need investor, you can talk to David. I'm very serious. He's here, and the people in his company are like, I'm actually very serious. It would be smarter to talk to him than me, because that's basically what they do. They invest in ideas.
Yeah. Well.
I'm serious. It's called Rekere. You can find it on the internet.
Yeah. I'll just they should just come to you.
But yeah, I'm still a baby at this thing. I'm trying to invest in material stuff as opposed to ideas. My ideas are investing in myself.
Anyway, yeah, thank you for that. Just check out I don't know. I'll leave my contacts to the person who.
No, but seriously, she can also just Google Rekere. I'm serious.
On Nestcoin. Just search for Nestcoin.
On Nestcoin,
NESTCOIN. Go to nestcoin.com and then try and get in touch with us on the website, and maybe we'll see how we can work together. But I'm serious. Yeah, nestcoin.com. Okay, so there is a poll from the TC team. Please go ahead and share the poll so that people can respond. 3 questions. Please respond to the poll, and we will I'll take one more question. Peace. Hi, Peace. I work as a product manager and I really want to teach people as I learn, but I suffer terrible imposter syndrome. Interesting. When do you think someone with 2 years of professional experience, can educate others in the ecosystem? Should I even be considering it? How was your journey when you started?
Please, I also have something to add after Peace says that.
Yes, please.
I
know you will.
Because I know too many people that just have no experience and are selling products.
Pretty much what Douglas just said. When Douglas said somebody said my Dubai experience, I'm like, wow, I have many experiences that I've not turned into digital product yet. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But there's one analogy I used to use, and I think that's how I answer this question as well, that no matter how many recipes of jollof rice there is, if someone decides that they want to make a jollof rice recipe today, they will still see somebody that watch that video and probably try their recipe. It doesn't matter how much you know, how little that you know. The fact that there is something that you know means that there's something that you can give. So you don't need to. I started training the day I started learning digital marketing, literally. So I don't know the people that listened to me then, but they did, and they say I touched their lives, and I believe them. But so it doesn't really matter. Like, you can have 10 years, you can have 2 months. In fact, you can decide to watch this, finish this webinar, write a note, go back on the internet and say, these are all the things that I learned, and you just created content and taught people that did not attend the webinar, and people would still get value from it. So you don't need to wait for 5 years or 10 years experience. You can always share whatever it is that you know. You can share your in-progress journey. I think a lot of the things that stop people from is like, oh, they want to hit this number first. They want to get like, oh, I have 10 years experience, I become a CEO, I have 1 million subscribers, and then I'll now do a thread of how I got there. But you could actually just share the process of, I'm still learning how to create, I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. And that's something. I'm still learning product management. I have just 2 years in my career, but of the 2 years, I did this thing, and I think somebody else might learn from it. And because you have 2 years, there's somebody who is just thinking, somebody was on the comments saying, how can a teen get into tech space? That person who's thinking of getting into tech space can consume your content of the 2 years you spent already doing product management. So that's already an audience for you. So just share, right? Just share what you do. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be what you know, and that's your own experience. It doesn't even have to be true, because like that, realities are different. Just share what you know. And there's no one way to share, right? Because most of us here are doing YouTube, doesn't mean that you have to do YouTube. David is doing newsletters. Douglas is just created a platform for people, and that's the why he's here. There's people who are doing podcasts. There are people who are just focusing on Instagram alone. There are people who are focusing on LinkedIn. People think it's only TikTok and Instagram creators. There are LinkedIn creators that are doing amazing stuff. There's any channel, literally. So find the channel that you're most comfortable with. If it's audio, if it's text, if it's a video, and just share what you know. Start with what you know. It doesn't have to be more than that. And reach out to the people who are still coming, who are not even where you are yet. That's an audience for you already. And there's also your peers as well, who may not have the urge to share, but they want to relearn, and they can also relearn from you as well. So that's how I started. Just like, I'm not great. I'm still not like, there's still a lot of people that have way more knowledge than I am, but I'm more just concerned of, oh, I want to share something. I think I know something, and maybe somebody else might not know it. I know one person is enough motivation for me to just share, and using the format that I find more fun. Sometimes it's writing, other times it's videos, and another time it would be actually physical classes. So it's choose what works best for you. And as you share, practice gets perfect, because with practice you get better. So you start finding like your flow, and you start finding the channel that you're most comfortable with, and you start finding like kind of topics you like to talk about. You will learn what really works for you. But at the beginning, just like, oh, I'm most comfortable on Twitter, I'm just going to be writing threads on what I currently know, and then, you know, just let it go from there.
Thank you so much, Peace. Do we have time for one more question? Because there's a lot of other questions here. So if we're unable to answer your question, we're going to have the panelists leave their contacts, so you can reach out with your questions via email later. I need to confirm if we have room for one more question.
So
if we have time for one more question.
If you don't mind me adding to what Peace said.
Yes, please.
So, I mean, there are a couple of things I would like to tell this product manager. Someone has been trying to hire a product manager for a while. Please, I think we need more product managers, and you should please get your videos out. But I mean, even with that, I think if you go to a platform, and I mean, I know that you're even thinking of just sharing without even monetizing, but if you go to a platform like Udemy and you just search like learning like PHP as a programming language, there are probably like over like 1,000 courses there, and some other person is adding their course tomorrow. Or even if you search YouTube, and I mean, they're all teaching the same array function, but everybody's bringing their own unique style to the table, and more people are finding them and connecting with them in that way. So you definitely need to put out your content and more people will find it. I mean, then the last thing I would say would be somebody is selling a course or a class on Selar on how to create Google Forms. If you think, and I said, and just in case you did not hear me clearly, I said someone is selling a training on how to create Google Forms, and you would really think, we really just always overestimate how much like people know. And it's very important that you put out your own experience. And I mean, I think even today, I think there's so much product management knowledge, but I don't know how many people are given very practical tips on the job challenges that they're facing. I think that's one of the things that I would even love to see more of, because there's always the general antidotes that people always share, but who's telling me that, oh, we're building this product and our referral system was broken, and then I changed something today, and then that changed something for our signups grew by 4,000%. And if you're being honest, those are the stories that even will connect. Those are the stories that hopefully people would love more, and you should definitely please go ahead and do that, because people, you will find the audience for it.
Thank you so much. And so we have one more question. I want everybody to give an input into this, and then we'll wrap up. What infrastructure do you believe is missing to equally allow the mini, micro, and nano content creators with limited fandom to be successful? For example, at the risk of assuming one size fits all, do you find tools like Shopify, Etsy, Patreon, OnlyFans, Substack, do they do just as well helping creators with a limited but loyal following to monetize? Is that question clear? Essentially, what the person is asking is, what infrastructure is missing for small scale influencers or creators to monetize? And then using the example of Shopify, Patreon, OnlyFans, Substack, and so on. So I would like everybody to chip in. Douglas, you can start.
I mean, that's the thing. All those platforms support small creators when you think about it, because there are a lot of creators on OnlyFans that don't have 100 subscribers. Maybe they have 10, maybe they have 20. And people always start there. I mean, I get that. And I guess there's always the 80-20 rule where like, 20% of the users are earning a lot of the money. But I think for all of the platforms that start today, they all definitely support you at a very small. I mean, I don't know what support means. I guess TikTok it's probably a different one, because I know TikTok only pays like a specific subset of people. And I think they even reach out to you when you hit a particular milestone. But so I think a lot of this platform support, it's you growing your 1 or 2 people in your audience and hopefully scaling that as time goes by. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I was going to answer the same way, that I don't think that infrastructure is the problem. There are way too many platforms for creators to create content and publish on. There are way too many platforms that gives people who want to sell digital product or any product the opportunity to. It's just left for you to do the hard work of researching and saying, okay, this is the one I think best suits me, or that I can actually use and try it out. But like, the creator economy is a thing now. I don't think that we're hearing creator economy as a phrase 2 years ago, right? That shows you that there's a lot, way more opportunities now than there has ever been on, like, at any point in human history. So there's no, the platforms that you currently find and infrastructure currently available might not be 100%. Maybe there are some ways where, or maybe they're not best suited for Nigerians, or maybe you need this extra thing, or you need to add 1 or 2. But there's definitely a lot, way too much for you to at least start and then figure out what's actually missing for you specifically. And then you can now start finding other ones that are sort of aggregate or build up upon. But there's nothing stopping you. Like there's way too many platforms. I don't know how much else to say it, but the problem is not infrastructure. The problem is not platforms to create. The problem is not audience. People are following the same kind of creators and subscribing to 5 of them because they all give different vibes, because everybody is unique. And even though Oh, take for instance, people that do reviews for tech products. I would search for, say, an iPad AirPod Max. I want to see what people think about it. I will see like 100 videos on YouTube about it. 50 of them from Nigeria creators, and not 50 from the same, like in the same continent, in the same country, but they all still have a lot of views because people are looking to like get many opinions. So there's literally nothing stopping, not the audience, not the competition, not the platform, not the infrastructure. It's actually available.
So I think I hear what everyone has said, and it makes perfect sense. However, I guess for people who are maybe not too who don't really do a lot of research, they're asking for specific platforms or whatever it is. So there's this. I'm just trying to help you so that it's not that we're not doing anything. So there's this platform called MakerWatch, right? MAKR. I'll put it in the chat. MAKRWATCH. So it's very simple. What they do is that was how I got. So I have this deal with Skillshare that ran for like 6 months, and they kept renewing it, and they just come back to renew it because I'm bad, and I always increase my money, and they always accept. So there's like what MakerWatch does is basically you can see you have requirements. So if you are a YouTuber, well, mostly YouTubers to be fair, but I think people on Instagram as well. So if you're a YouTuber, they'll tell you, okay, you need to have at least 1,000 views a month. They'll show you the companies that are currently looking for micro influencers or macro influencers, whichever it is, and you guys they can connect you with those people. It's very simple. It's very straight to the point. Because when Skillshare came at first, I didn't have a lot of I didn't have that much audience, to be fair. So yeah, basically they just look for the least you can have at least is 1,000 views per month, and they're okay with that. So you can go from that to high as whatever, and they pay you like monthly. So it's like you're on like a 3 months stuff. Because I know that a lot of people don't actually have practical ways. A lot of platforms say they want to help you, but in all fairness, most of them don't function very well. Like MakerWatch is an amazing platform for me because you see your progress, you see how many people use the links you put, you see everything. So you can just check it out and it might help your life.
See, isn't Korty just amazeballs? Straight, direct, honest person. That's why we watch on YouTube. That's why we love people like her on YouTube. Very direct. She's not hoarding any information and all. So I think there's really nothing much for me to add to it. And I was just looking at the poll here, and people already answered that, the most opportunities for content monetization is on YouTube. The truth is YouTube did lay the groundwork for all of this creator economy. I think 14 years ago, thereabouts, that's when we launched the YouTube partner program. And then it was the first of its kind where you share majority of the revenue with the people who create content itself. And so there's really nothing, and that's what I like. The barrier is very low. There's no gauge on the sort of content you can create. I mean, we've all spoken here about the different things that we love to watch on YouTube. So there's no barrier to what you can create. And even I am learning a lot of things today, thanks to Douglas, that people are selling things. I mean, obviously people are selling their experience to the buyer. They're in trouble. I'm going to sell my experience at Nairobi Park. I'm going to do all of those things. So all of these things work. And it's the truth. People are creating. I don't know if Korty does anything else now, but to create content. And I know she doesn't like being called a content creator, but I don't think she has time for anything else, just putting out her videos and working on the different things she likes. So there's a wall there. It didn't happen in a day. And I'm never going to promise that it's going to happen in a day. But yes, there's ways for you to monetize whatever you create. And what's happened and moved us away from the traditional media of TV and co is now you create your own audience. There's a lot of people now who have more viewership. A lot of single people, single content creators, YouTubers who have more viewership, more followers, more audience than entire TV stations. I know because I've worked in TV, I'm working in tech, I've worked in TV for the last 10 years. So I know for a fact, single YouTubers who have a lot more followership than old TV stations. So it's about deciding what you want to do, starting out, have monetization in your mind, put it at the back of your mind and know all the different ways that you can distribute. Peace said that, all the different ways you can distribute that content. Get some of the tidbits that's been shared by people like Korty and Peace and Douglas and all the tidbits you continue to hear, and roll that into your own world and decide that I'm going to be creating content on Boli. I'm going to be creating content on this. Be consistent on it. Make sure you try to improve it. Again, learning from Korty, improve it from the previous one, and start to push that to your friends. Move out of your cycle. Look at all of those things. How do people in the UK, how do they want to see Boli? Why do they want to see it? Think of all of those things, wrap it into your content, and I believe that the world will be your oyster.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Solafunmi. Thank you, Korty. Thank you, Peace. Thank you, Douglas. This has been a fantastic conversation. I have learned a lot from you all. So thank you so much for your time.
So David, are we going to see another webinar?
What?
Are we going to see each other in another event or webinar? I guess in another 2 months. In another
because you're
2
following
months.
me around.
This is our third one.
So, yeah, this is the third one we're doing together. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for this. Thank you to the TechCabal team for putting this together. So there's a post-event survey that we need to fill. It's going to be in the chat box. I think they shared it before, but they can share again. Everyone, please fill that post-event survey and look forward to TC's next event on July 8th. This is titled Backend Building a Product for the African Market. So if you're a product developer, or you're a product marketer, product manager, all that, please look forward to, the link will be posted in the chat room and you can sign up ahead of it. This event was produced by TechCabal Insights. And please sign up to the TC Daily newsletter, very insightful. If you need to, you just need to get acquainted with everything happening in tech every day. That's the perfect newsletter for you. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
Thank you.